A small town where time fell asleep. Have you ever wondered what would happen if time itself grew tired? If one quiet night it simply decided to rest, not stop forever, not break, just fall asleep. This is the story of a small American town where that impossible thing quietly happened and almost no one noticed at first. The town was called Briarwood. It didn't appear on most maps unless you zoomed in far enough, and even then it looked like a smudge between pine forests and long, empty highways. Briarwood had one main street, a clock tower that hadn't been cleaned in decades, and houses that all seemed to lean slightly inward, as if sharing old secrets. People passed through Briarwood without stopping. Those who lived there rarely left, not because they were trapped, but because there never seemed to be a reason to hurry. Time in Briarwood had always felt softer. The mornings arrived slowly, like they were stretching before getting out of bed. Afternoons lingered, sunlight pooling on porches and sidewalks. Evenings drifted in with the smell of warm dust and distant crickets. And then, one night, time finally let go. It happened at exactly 2:17 a.m., though no one would realize that until much later. At that moment, every clock in Briarwood stopped. Not shattered, not broken, just still. The clock tower's hands froze mid-tick, wristwatches paused, digital clocks glowed with unmoving numbers. Even the blinking red light atop the old radio tower held steady, like a star caught in thought. Yet the world didn't freeze. People kept breathing, leaves continued to sway, a dog turned over in its sleep. Time had not vanished, it had simply stopped paying attention. The first person to notice something wrong was Elliot Harper, the night librarian. Elliot had worked the graveyard shift at the Briarwood Public Library for 23 years. He liked the quiet, the way books seemed to breathe after midnight. At 2:17 a.m., he was stamping a return slip when he realized the stamp hadn't changed dates in hours. He checked the wall clock. Still. He checked his watch. Still. Elliot frowned, not with panic, but with mild curiosity, as if time stopping was just another overdue book. He waited. Nothing happened. No sudden darkness, no thunder, no dramatic music. So he shrugged, poured another cup of lukewarm coffee, and kept working. That was Briarwood. When dawn came, it arrived without urgency. The sun rose to the same angle it always did, casting long golden lines across Main Street, and then it stayed there. Not frozen, just unchanging. The light didn't climb higher, shadows didn't move. Morning simply lingered. People stepped outside and noticed something felt off, but couldn't quite say what. Mrs. Calder's bread never burned. The school bell rang once and then never rang again. A jogger named Tom ran 3 miles and returned without feeling tired or hungry. No one aged, no one healed, no one grew sick. Time wasn't moving forward, but it wasn't holding them still either. It was like living inside a deep breath that never quite finished. Days, or what felt like days, passed without clocks to measure them. People slept when they felt tired and woke when they didn't. Meals happened when hunger appeared, though hunger itself became less frequent, more polite. Eventually, Briarwood realized something extraordinary had happened, and instead of fear, they felt peace. Without deadlines, arguments softened. Without schedules, conversations stretched. Children played games that never needed to end. Elders told stories without watching the sun sink. The town became quieter. not empty, just unhurried. Elliot noticed something else. Books were changing, not the words, but the spaces between them. Sentences felt longer, paragraphs seemed to breathe. Some books, when opened, revealed memories the reader hadn't lived. Others whispered things that felt true but had never been written. It was as if stories, freed from time, were remembering themselves. One evening, or what felt like evening, though the sky remained suspended in a soft amber glow, Elliot climbed the clock tower. No one had been up there in years. The gears were still, dust rested undisturbed. The massive pendulum hung like a thought left unfinished. At the center of it all was a small, unfamiliar object, a pocket watch. It didn't tick. It slept. When Elliot held it, he felt something unusual, not power, not fear, but fatigue. Not his own. Time was tired. It had carried centuries on its back. Wars, deadlines, regrets, endless rushing. Briarwood, with its quiet streets and patient people, had felt like a place safe enough to rest, so time had chosen it. Elliot understood then that nothing was broken. Time would wake again, but not yet, and Briarwood had a choice. They could force the clocks to move, wind the gears, wake time before it was ready, or they could let it sleep a little longer. The town gathered, not at a specific hour, but when it felt right. Under the unmoving sun, they talked softly, about moments they wished had lasted longer, about days they'd rushed through without noticing. No one wanted to wake time just yet, so they didn't. Seasons didn't change, but people did, inwardly. Without aging, they grew gentler. Without tomorrow pressing in, today became enough. Some outsiders wandered in eventually. They felt strange there, uneasy. Most left quickly. A few stayed, drawn by something they couldn't name. And then, one day, without warning, a breeze passed through Briarwood that felt different. The pocket watch in the tower ticked, just once. The sun shifted, shadows moved, time inhaled. No alarms rang, no one screamed. Life continued, only now gently forward. Clocks began ticking again, but more slowly than before, as if remembering how to be careful. People aged again, seasons returned, but something remained. Briarwood never rushed after that. And sometimes, late at night, if you drive through a small town where the light feels softer and the air seems to wait, you might be passing through a place where time once fell asleep and learned how to rest. Now, as you listen, let your own time slow down. Let your thoughts soften. There is nowhere you need to be. Time will keep watch for you.